guide you home, a beacon in the darkness. The light is always on. Look for the lighthouse. You're never too far gone. No matter what the distance, the light is always on, and it'll guide you home.
Thanks to everyone, it's Ada from Pause and Rock, and I have the pleasure to have with me from literally across the world, from New Zealand, Mickey. How are you? From Written by the Wolves.
Thank you so much for having me. It's very, very cool to be a part of this. Obviously, yeah, we're on the other side of the world. We've managed to make time zones work. We've managed to connect. So
Yeah, we did it. We did it. It wasn't easy because, of course, we have to go throughout your time, my time. I'm going to sleep. You're awake. You're on the future.
Yeah.
I'm in the past.
I'm only just awake now, to be honest. I'm only just awake, so this is good. So if I sound tired and slow, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's the same for me. If I sound tired and slow, it's not a problem because I'm tired. So before start, of course, I want to say congratulations because we're here mainly to talk about the Lighthouse that is that's gonna be released the 26th of July. So probably we can talk about it, really open about it, so that people are gonna be happy. I don't have to wonder, but since we're mean, we're gonna leave something out. We're not gonna say everything because people have to buy the album to find it out.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
But before I just step into talking about the Lighthouse and your previous work, I just want to ask about your personal background, Mickey. Like how it started, like everything before Written by the Wolf. Who is Mickey before?
All right. Well, so I've been singing my entire life. Like I did my first kind of public performance when I was 4. I'm pretty old now, so I've been doing this for a long, long time.
Okay.
So I straight out of high school, I ended up on a TV show, which meant that I basically at 17 ended up signing a record deal and kind of running away and joining the circus basically, and music became my life from then. So I've been doing this forever. I started a band, my high school band basically. Once we started that back up a few years after I did recorded a solo album when I was 17.
Okay, so
got bored of that.
You have as well a solo album, solo material.
Yeah, I did, and then I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, and so I stopped that. And then all my friends from high school, my high school band, moved back up to the city that I was living in, and we started a high school band again, which we called 5 Star Fallout, and we did that for a few years and toured the States and toured New Zealand a lot of times, and then eventually that broke up, and then I kind of ran off and started doing other things, did some stage shows, moved to the UK for a little while, went to LA and wrote some albums to some people over there for a little while, came back, helped a guy write some stage show stuff. We wrote Romeo and Juliet into a rock opera. So that kind of consumed me for a few years. And then I got to the point where I was really, really missed being in a band again. And so there was a few friends of mine that I always kind of thought I'd like to be in a band with you guys, but timing never really worked with the bands that we were in and things like that. And we kind of got this moment where we all were free and we all didn't have a band, and we were all kind of at that point of going, okay, I might want to start something again now. So we sat down and said, right, if we're going to do this, because like it's not easy to start a band. Like when you're in a band, it's so much effort and it's so intense, and especially starting from the start is such a big deal. So we said, right, if we're going to do this, we're going to do something that we've never ever done before. So we sat down and worked out what that would be and how we would make that work. And so we basically went, right, let's take everything that we love from music. Let's take all of the bits from different genres that we like, from pop and from hip hop and from electronic music and from everything. And let's try and smash it into one thing and see if that works. And it did.
So it's like each one of you has different influences then.
Yeah, I think to an extent, but I like, yeah, we all kind of had somewhat different influences.
Yeah.
But we always also had this kind of this kind of exciting idea of doing something that was different
Yeah.
and trying to kind of take stuff that we hadn't done before, which I think was what kind of made this project so exciting when we started it, was that
Yeah.
everything was about trying to do something that we hadn't done.
Yeah, of course.
Which,
Because of course, like,
yeah.
I mean, just to be as well polite to the other guy in the band involved, let's introduce the other guy in Written by the Wolves.
Yeah,
No, at least
so
they are not behind you, hidden.
so I'm the singer. That is all I do because I'm far too uncoordinated to play any instruments. So then we've got Davey Wong. He is the guitarist. He is also one of the other. So he and myself are kind of write the most of the songs. We're kind of the
Okay.
main songwriters. We then got Carl Woodhams on the drums. He's tall and lanky and a bit crazy, which is what makes him fun. And he's great to party with. And then we've got Ollie Lyons, who is on like kind of percussions and samples
Okay.
and keys and things like that. He also in his spare time is a doctor, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, but who knows?
But funnily enough, he's also the guy in the band that's most likely to need a doctor. So it's a strange
Yeah, it's
thing
a
there.
paradox.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
that's the
cool.
band.
That's cool because, like, as well, I like how you introduced the guy because that shows how, yeah, such a good chemistry, like friend out of the band.
Yeah, yeah, and like we've been lucky, I think, that we do like each other.
Yeah,
You
of
know, this
course.
band's been going for a long time now.
Yeah.
And we do, and you know, you spend a lot of time touring, you spend a lot of time
It became like
in
a marriage.
bands together, and yeah, and that's it. And it can be really easy if you
Yeah.
don't like each other to fall apart pretty quickly. But yeah, we've just spent all this time on the road together, and we still talk to each other, and
So that
haven't killed each other yet, so that's
no
good.
one no one filed for divorce yet. That's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
at least I
we're
hope
just
you had some kind of prenup for the for the. For the
yeah, yeah.
but of course, like, but
Divorce.
the other guys as well are like as well from New Zealand, or you met them throughout all your musical journey?
Yeah, so I mean Dave, the guitarist, he was one of the first people I met. So we live in a city called Auckland, but I
Yeah,
didn't grow
yeah,
up
of
there.
course.
And he
It's a
was one of the
it's
first.
a pretty famous city, Auckland.
Oh, good. You know, I never really know what people are gonna know about New Zealand because it's, you know,
Yeah,
we're
beautiful.
little, we're down the bottom of the world. So I always try and talk as if you've
It's
never heard of the
beautiful.
country before in your entire life, and then the fact that
I
you
have
do
a
is a
close,
bonus.
I have a close friend. She lives in New Zealand. She's a musician too. She's one of the
Okay,
most well-known musician as a folk pop, Kiki Rockwell.
Kiki Rockwell.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
she's a
I don't
friend.
know her personally, but I have heard of
I-
her. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
interviewed her. We became friends, and now I'm obsessed by her. So yeah,
Uh
yeah,
no, I definitely, yeah, I haven't met her in person, but I do know of her.
she's
New
amazing.
Zealand's a bit like that. Chances are you could say someone's name and be like, oh, you know, I was at the pub with them the other night.
Yeah,
New Zealand's a funny little place.
but
Um,
it must be beautiful though.
yeah, no, it's amazing. It's winter right now, so like, which is great
Okay,
for snowboarding and skiing, but it's
oh,
cold
cool.
and rainy.
Okay,
Um, I'm
okay,
sick of winter. I'm not a winter guy. I'm
okay.
not very
No,
good
no,
at. I'm not very.
don't worry. Since your
Yeah.
video and your music gave me a little bit of this seasonal vibe, we will go through that as well. Don't worry. But
Yeah.
first, I just had to give a little bit of space to this guy where they're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were mentioning about some of them being from Auckland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Look, Auckland's a great city. Come
Mhm.
on down. Come and hang out with us. The traffic sucks, but if you don't have to go anywhere
Here
at 9
too.
o'clock in the morning, then you're good.
Here too. So and
Where are you? Sorry, I didn't
in
ask that.
Sicily, I am in deep down in the Mediterranean Sea in Sicily,
Wow.
Italy.
In Sicily. I was just talking to a friend of mine about Sicily yesterday. He was just at a wedding there. Not
Okay.
that, you know, not that that has any bearing on what we're talking about, but
Okay,
literally
Sicily,
Sicily
like
was,
the
I was
lost
talking about
island.
Sicily.
The
Yeah,
lost
I was talking
island.
about it yesterday.
Yeah, right.
That's great.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
coming back to
so
your
I met I met Dave. He was one of the first people I met when I moved to Auckland.
Yeah,
And he actually we wrote some music together when we were still teenagers, and then remained pretty, we remained friends for a long time.
yeah.
It's been a long time since that first meeting. But yet for some reason we are still we're still, very, very close like brothers, and kind of love writing music together. So I've known these guys for a long time. And I suppose our fates are intertwined, and I'm gonna know them
Yeah.
for a lot longer, I suppose.
Yeah, like for the rest of your life, which is not
Yeah,
bad. No, it's not bad. Sometimes friendship that lasts like 1 year and that's it. But
that's
that's
right.
good. And especially you can hear it throughout the music, with the video clip, in the live show, when there's a really good friendship. And
Yeah.
it's like you were saying before. And of course, we just talked a little bit about the other band, your background. What is really I'm interested, because I saw the last, I think it was one of the last video clip. It was, I think, Adrift. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right?
The last video clip.
Not one of the last video clip. I think it was Adrift, if I'm right.
Adrift
Yeah,
is the album opener.
yeah.
So it's kind of we've not released a video for that. It is coming though. But so once you've kind of Adrift is kind of what's going to set the scene for the album. The
Okay.
most recent video we dropped was for Please Just Breathe.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I got all the the story to post and things to post. So I had a previous look about that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah.
I mean, the video are really well done. I mean, it's like literally kind of a mini movie, mini something.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
funnily enough, that's just the music video edit. There's the director is an incredible guy. He's an incredible director. His name's Josh Maybe. He lives in LA. So this one we when we do when we start a project, we've got three different music video directors that we work with that we love, that are like family. One's in Auckland, one's in Melbourne in Australia, and one is in LA.
Okay.
So we kind of try bounce between all these guys. And basically, when we start a project, when we finished this album and had it ready, I just sent it to all three of them, sent them the whole album and said, right, we're going to release a whole heap of music videos off this album. Pick your favorite two songs, and you get to do whatever you want with them, essentially. Once you've picked them, I'll tell you what the story means, but I'm not going to tell you the story before you pick the song, and then we'll go from
Okay.
there. And so they just kind of all got to go crazy, which is what was super fun about it. So Josh picked Please Just Breathe. Now, Josh, we'd worked with him a few times before, but we
Okay.
first met him. He approached us years ago, just sent us a message on YouTube and said, look, hey, I love your music and I'd love to work with you. I'm a director in LA. I'd love to make a music video. And I was like, oh yeah, whatever. You get kind of random messages like that all the time.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, let's jump on Zoom wasn't around then, but so we had a video call, and
Yeah.
we chatted through, and we just kind of got on instantly. It was like this kind of, I felt, I was like, yeah, I could give you whatever song and we're going to get something amazing back. I felt safe and trusted. And yeah, he's a
Yeah.
beautiful man. And he basically said, right, let's do something different. Let's do something weird. Let's do something crazy. So I sent him a bunch of songs, and this was in the early days. And he ended up picking a song that we were called To Tell You the Truth. Now, that was a song that was never ever going to be a single. It was never going to be a music video. It's got like a
Okay.
minute and a half instrumental intro. So it's like it is not designed to be a single.
Like
He
yeah.
shoots this incredible video for it, and that's the song that kind of blew up for us. That was kind of that's our biggest video still.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that I know nothing about the music industry, and that I should never ever trust my instincts whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, you got your experience. Maybe
oh
to
no, it's basically it's just how fickle the industry is, right? You just never know what's gonna work. You never know what song's gonna blow. You think this might work. Like so often we'll release a song and I'm like, this one is a lock. Like everyone is gonna vibe on this. This song's gonna go wild, and it doesn't. And then you release something, you're like, oh, I'm not sure about this one, and
I
you
think
release it and it goes
yeah.
nuts.
I think it's only when it comes to your own music or art. Because when it's someone else, I think you might be good to say this could be good because you have your idea from the outside and you can see
Yeah,
more objectively and said, I'm gonna pick that and put it out.
yeah,
Because but when it's your music, your or your heart, there is a little bit of more being critic critics a little bit more about that, or maybe too much perfectionist or want to be observant, because this I think is different. So from someone that's watched, they're listening, watching, seeing whatever from the outside. So I don't think it's because that you don't understand. It's because maybe just.
I think the music industry is just crazy now, right? Like the world is a crazy place. And so
Yeah,
you just can't like, you really
Yeah.
can't foretell anything these days because you never know what's going to be lightning in a bottle. Like you never know what's going to kind of
no,
catch fire because
yeah,
it can literally change from day to day. Like I
yeah,
could release a song today and it just the timing be right, the algorithm be right, the
exactly.
the
This is like,
listenership be
yeah,
right, and everything just goes boom. I could then release the same song tomorrow, having not released it today, and it might
yeah.
have a completely different way in which that
No,
it does its thing.
exactly, exactly,
The world's a crazy place.
exactly.
I've given up analyzing.
And I can tell you like a funny story about when I started to do interviews. I got, the major names, Megadeth, Testament, Mayhem, just put it there. Like, and then there was like, just let's say Megadeth 400 views, Mayhem 2000. You should expect like Megadeth, like big number.
Yeah,
It was the
yeah.
last interview with the bass player David Ellefson before you left the band. So it's the last interview. It should be everyone.
Yeah.
Blabbermouth, talk about it. Zero. Then I got to interview a new band, a new musician. It was after the lockdown, so everyone was doing their life in 2022. Called Black Braid. Is a native guy who's playing black metal. It's a new point of view of seeing black metal. I pick him, and we just did, like this talking, like old friend. I didn't know him, he didn't know me. Okay, how are you? Where do you came from? It's blown up, almost 20,000 stream. Like
Yeah, well,
fuck, Megadeth, like for 400 views, and then amazing musician, I love them. But fuck, okay, something is wrong.
yeah, you can't work like there's no working it out. You just have to, and you can't even get annoyed about it. You just have to like exist and just be like,
I enjoy.
okay, that's what happened. But the thing is as well, the fact that it still sits on the internet means that doesn't mean it might not blow up later.
No,
Like it could
exactly.
it could happen at any time. It's
Exactly.
look, we just live in a crazy time and a crazy, in which the world is so connected, and content is so easy to consume. There's so much stuff out there. I think something like, and this is an old stat now, so I know I've got it wrong. I really have to check it out. Like Spotify gets something like 60,000 tracks a day sent to it, like something like that. Like it is absolutely wild.
Yeah,
So like,
I mean,
so when you put it that way, to try and cut
yeah.
through is like near on impossible, right? So and it's the same with YouTube. You're talking about streams on
Yeah.
videos.
It's
One day you might
yeah.
cut. The next day, who knows? It just is what it is. But look, we're just lucky also that we do live in a world now that is so connected that I can release a video in New Zealand. I can release an album tomorrow in New Zealand, and you're going to have access to every single part of that instantaneously. Whereas I've been in bands before before the world was so connected, before the internet, before streaming, before that, and basically you couldn't do that. Like I had to, if I wasn't touring in Italy, then chances are you barely had heard of me.
I heard of you.
Whereas now, you've got this instant connection. You've got this instant way for me to, I can drop something and it's yours tomorrow, like that. So that's pretty amazing.
And that's, I mean, of course, it was beautiful back when you were back teenager, at least I was teenager, just getting lost in the record store and finding out bands. But that was kind of, like trying. I am buying that album because I'm captivated by the artwork or for some reason. And then you ended up to just loving, or maybe just giving to someone else in the record. But now it was beautiful to get lost. But now it's beautiful because you can even pick, the first, I like, because you have the suggested like genre or something. But I think as well, this gives you the chance to get to know band, like you were saying, from across the world, but even band that are not probably your genre. That's the beauty of it. Because as well, I think I started like with pop and then I unwrap hip hop, and then I ended up with the techno, doing interview to techno band, because I was like, rock is music. Music is everything. I can even interview a DJ tomorrow. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
beauty
yeah.
of music.
That's it.
Just be
Absolutely.
open, yeah, and even mix it. All this back in the days was like pop, rock. Now it's everything, and I think one of the main things that made this possible was all this accessibility to the music, which is everywhere. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, of course, I found out we got thanks to October promotion, but I think that in one way or in another, being as well like the world small, because the world we think that is big, but it's really small.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're connected. You know,
Oh, well,
there's a
yeah,
connection
yeah.
easily.
But of course, coming back to the main point, so the core, which is the lighthouse. Like we were mentioning a little bit prior to join the interview, you released the Secrets. That was your first album, debut album. So
Mhm.
of course, I mean, it's important always to just say a little bit what changed. So people and so us, we could see literally sound wise and lyric wise some different from Secrets to the Lighthouse.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, the Lighthouse, Secrets came out in 2019.
Mhm.
So our whole plan, our whole like kind of life plan for the band then was to drop that in 2019, and then basically we were going to start touring. We had all these tour plans and things
Yeah,
like that. Um, or most of our fan base is overseas, so either in Europe or the US. So, you know, that's where we need to be playing. But of
yeah,
course, we
sure.
all 2020 happened, and the world got locked down, and we couldn't go anywhere, and all our plans changed.
Yeah,
So we kind of we ended up sitting down here on this side of the world with everything kind of different. So Secrets was a kind of a concept album, I suppose,
okay.
where it was all about the things that we can't talk about. So it's all about the mental health struggles and the issues that we feel uncomfortable talking about. And
Yeah,
the whole album is kind of based around um, trying to, I suppose, talk about those things that we don't talk about.
yeah,
The Lighthouse, because basically because we ended up stuck down here, the Lighthouse, when we started writing it, I essentially made it a continuation from
okay,
Secrets.
okay,
But where that album, where Secrets was about talking about what we couldn't talk about, the
okay,
Lighthouse, it kind of continues the concept but takes it to a different place. So the
okay,
Lighthouse looks at the idea of home. So what is home? Home, like in this kind of conceptual idea, isn't necessarily a physical place. Like home is kind of the thing that makes you feel safe and makes you feel
yeah,
comfortable. But where the lighthouse comes in is what is it that we, you know, when we're in our darkest places, like when we're kind of stuck and lost
yeah,
and don't know, you know, who we are,
yeah,
what is it that guides us back home? Like what is the thing or the person or the, you know, or the feeling or the
yeah,
music or the sensation that guides you back to this place of home and feeling comfortable.
yeah,
So that's where the lighthouse kind of comes in. That's what that's all about. But the lighthouse itself is a concept album. So if you listen to it start to finish, you do get the kind of full story that I was trying to create, and
okay,
that we kind of had in mind, that kind of tells his story about going through, you know, going to kind of dark places and struggling mentally, and struggling with life to kind of finding kind of ways in which, you know, finding a lighthouse, I suppose,
yes,
that can kind of
yeah,
help you bring you back to a place where you can be stronger and safer and sort of
yes,
feel better about things. So that's kind of where that lives. Look, it's kind of it's certainly, I say it's a continuation from Secrets. It's
yeah,
kind of continuation from the ideas, I suppose. I
okay,
mean, musically, I think this one is definitely, we've tried to go to places that we've never gone, like again. We've tried to make everything different to what we've done
yeah,
before. I think it's definitely an evolution for us, but I think
okay,
look, I basically just sound like I'm saying a whole heap of like music buzzwords, but look, it kind of like it kind of, I feel like if you listen to this album, you're gonna hear something from us that you've never heard us do before. But I think
okay,
immediately you will also know, you know, if you're a fan of our
yes,
sound and you
yes,
know our
yeah,
sound, you will know straight away that it's us. but you
Okay.
are going to be pleasantly kind of taken to places that you've never kind of been before when listening to Written by Wolves songs.
So there's your core, like the core is always Written by the Wolf sound, which
Yeah.
is that one we can find in Secret, and then as well like in the Lighthouse. Maybe of course there are a little bit different influences and sound and anything effect whatsoever, because of course, come on, 4 5 years people change, 3 years there are changes, new things coming up, like I said, new place, you try to put new place, being in new places, like in as a sound, as in lyrics, is normal. I mean, if you were stuck the same, just you would either put like Secret and make copy and paste, and here you
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So that
Look, a
yeah.
lot's happened in the world since
Oh
2019 when
well,
we
yeah.
released that first album.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot to talk about. I do always kind of freak out. Like every time we start writing a new album and start writing a new project, I sit there going, man, do I have enough stories? Like, do I have enough to talk about that people want to listen to? But I think
Think you have.
like look, there's been a lot that's gone on. There was a lot that's happened in 5 years, and I think everyone can attest to that. And I tried to put those down in the songs, and I think whilst they're, a lot of them are relatively personal sort of stories to me, I do think
Okay.
that I think most people, I've tried to kind of write about, the kind of human experience of the last
Yeah.
5 years, and I kind of hope that people can find something that really connects with them
I
in this album.
I think because like you were saying, I think that 2020 in a kind of way put us all on the same level, because we were for one moment all the same inside
Yeah, yeah,
a container, let's say, inside our brain.
yeah.
For one moment we were the same. There was no gender, no ethnicity. We were the same. So I think
Hmm.
it doesn't matter what we were experiencing in our stages in life. I think that we all went through the same. So I think yes, anyone could relate to what maybe you were going through the day, to that period
Yeah, yeah,
time. And as well, like you're saying, that the mental struggle or the mental anything that could go in our inside of our mind, it's always been
yeah,
like
yeah.
taboo or something like, oh, no, we don't matter, we don't talk about it. But more there is out there, more it's less stigmatized, and it's more like became more normal, because we don't have,
That's right.
but because it's a fucking normal. I was say this to my mom today. I've been crazy like this weekend, and I don't know, with anxiety and shit. And then today I feel like good. Tomorrow I may have something, and I want to be open to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
And
nothing
that's the
wrong.
thing. It can feel so like can feel so lonely when you do feel like that, because you
Yeah,
do, and it does feel like it's kind of only happening to you. But I think it is changing this, like you say, changing the stigma around those things
yeah,
is one of the most important things for us to kind of realize that these are normal issues, and they're really normal things that everyone's going through in some way, shape, or form.
yeah,
Look,
exactly.
it's all a spectrum clearly, but there is, this is normal stuff that everyone goes through, but we just spent so long as a society kind of trying to ignore that and going, no, 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 that's not something we talk about.
That's for
Uh,
mental. That's for
yeah.
sanitarium.
So now we've just got, decades and decades
Yeah,
of kind of societal kind of thing to just undo.
yeah,
Which, is, things undo faster than they go up. So it's kind of,
mm,
like that stigma is changing. And I think that people now sort of do have an ability, I suppose, to
yeah,
talk about these things a lot more. And I think we certainly have more language about it. Like we certainly have more ability to kind of talk
yeah.
about these things. And
More
it's
tools. Yeah,
and people listening have more understanding as well,
yeah,
and more understanding of it in their own personal perspective too, to be
yeah,
able to relate. And I think
yeah.
that's really important. And I think it's amazing that things are changing.
Yeah, and of course, like you're speaking, of course, I mean, always is like in the if there is one song or two songs in all the Lighthouse that you really like. I don't want to say that you really had fun writing about it, or that you have good memories about it, and maybe that you want to even suggest to the people just to maybe hear as first songs.
Look, this album's, this album's my baby. This is kind of like, it's kind of
You
like you're
mentioned
asking
that.
me to, that's kind of like asking me to pick which of my kids are my favorite. Um, look, I love every single song on this
Okay.
album, and I really do, and I really do implore you, like when you listen to it, like I really do hope that you find 45 minutes to listen to it from start to finish. Like I know that's a real grandiose, like kind of a bit
No,
wanky thing to say,
it is
but
not.
it is kind of how it was intended. If I'm going with some of my favorite songs,
Okay.
some of the new ones that people haven't heard yet. There's a track on there called The Lighthouse. Look,
Okay.
it's not heavy. I'm gonna preface this right now. It's very soft, but
Okay.
it's kind of like the antithesis of what the
Okay.
album's all about. It's kind of like the crux of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the turning point in the story. So I think,
That's
that's a really great song. My probably one of my favorites is Goddess on the
okay.
album. We've released that one already, but I just like
Yeah.
it's just I listen back and I kind of I love I just love the kind of the flow and the lyrical sort of
Yeah.
nature that I kind of got in there. There's a couple of really exciting ones coming.
Okay.
Yeah, just listen to the
Just
whole
listen
bloody
to the
thing, I
album.
suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna pick which one of my kids are my favorite. And
No, of course. I mean, you have like how many? You have like 13 kids.
I know. Yeah,
Congratulations.
I gotta slow down. That's way too many kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like really this is stupid, but we were talking before about like the season, like you like summer and like but as well winter. Written by the Wolf, in your opinion, it's like summer band, like summer music, like which kind of the seasonal vibe of Written by the Wolves?
Look, you know what? I'm gonna say summer because I like summer. Um, Look, I think there's a lot to digest in our music. So like maybe it's not like a light breezy kind of summer band, but I would like it to be.
Okay,
I
you
would
can
like
say it
I would like when people listen to it that they can sit there and like feel like, get that thought of summer like sitting around with a
with the
drink in their
headphones,
hand,
going on the
headphones,
skateboard.
hanging out with their friends, riding their
Yeah,
skateboards. That's it.
yeah, that's
Um,
my picture with
yeah,
the Wolf. Yeah,
it's probably like a little bit kind of, yeah. I
yeah.
mean, let's go with that because that's what
Okay.
I like. So I'm into it. Let's do
Okay,
that.
let's go with summer. But before running, just I want to ask you about the. Of course, the album is gonna be released, physical copy, I think, vinyl,
Hmm.
CDs, pre-order. Sorry, all the platform are is of course Meta
It's
everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah,
Okay,
but if you want physical, go to writtenbywolves.com.
okay, perfect.
Writtenbywolves.com, and I personally will send you the vinyl and the CD. I ship every single thing. It'll come from
Okay,
me, and I will send it to your house.
okay. Sign it. Let's say
Yeah,
sign it
I will sign it, and it'll come personally packaged from me.
with you. We will with one
With
of
me,
your
that's right.
13
Yeah, yeah.
kids.
I will turn up at your house. I'll knock on the door and I'll be like, "Here's your vinyl," and they'll be like, "All right, weirdo, go," and I'll leave and I'll go
And
back and I'll deliver the next one.
did you plan
I'm
as
like
well?
Santa. I'm like I'm like Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, yeah. Did you plan a
Yeah.
release album, a release party, something for the album?
Yeah, we've got a really
Okay,
massive show in Auckland on the 2nd of August.
okay.
So I think, if you're planning on being in Auckland on the 2nd of August, come on by.
It's easy.
Uh,
Let's fly all over
yeah.
the globe.
We're playing with two incredible artists. So some really, really close friends of ours in a band called Capital Theatre are also releasing an album at the same time. So we're
That's
both doing a dual
yeah,
release party. And we've got this incredible artist called Vana opening up the night as well. Go and check her out. You'll absolutely love
yeah.
her.
I'm gonna check it out, of
Um,
course.
and so we're playing at a place called the Power Station, which it's going to be our biggest kind of headlining
Yeah.
show so far. So we're very, very excited, and we've got some pretty exciting tricks up our sleeve for we're going to do some things live that we've never done before, and we're going to play the
Okay.
album in full, which is going to be really exciting.
That's him as well. But as well, like you're planning for fall and the next winter whatsoever. I mean, at least for European fall and winter, some tour or something. Of
We're
course, for
coming back.
Washington.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
We were meant to be back already. We were hoping
okay,
to have been back early, but
okay.
unfortunately it hasn't panned out and there's been some
Okay.
logistical issues. They're just every band in the world's trying to go on tour at the moment,
Yeah,
so there's just not enough venues around.
yeah.
But we
So,
will be back. So watch this space because we're very
okay.
excited to come and see you guys again.
So just let people like to stay updated on your social on the social media, Written by the Wolf. The easiest one is
That's
could
it.
be Instagram or could be Facebook or the website, depend on which how old are you? Depends.
Nice, right? Yeah. Just pick the one you like the best, and you can find us. I promise.
Okay, so really, Mike, it was really a pleasure doing this interview. And maybe after you're back from the release party or before the autumn, let's have another another interview, and maybe
Please do.
make it a little bit fun, like with the season, with movie, with things like sports and
Let's do
something.
that.
I'm really
I'm in.
thank you. It
Let's
was
do
really
that.
a pleasure meeting you, and have a good rest of the day, and enjoy the 25th of June.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. I'll look forward to the next one.
Me too. Me too. Let's stay in touch. Bye.
See
Bye.
you
Bye.
later.
And,
Bye.
and especially have fun to the release party.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.